Welcome to Media Maniaxe. I'm Russell Courier.
I'm Jamie Hughes.
We review everything and we're
just crazy enough to do it.
Yes, and on this episode we're going to take a little serious turn and talk about, well, one unexpected death that happened recently. David Bowie.
Wow. I mean, I talk about being, I mean, that, I mean, as Mr. Bowie probably wanted it to happen, I mean, not wanted, I mean, he knew he had cancer for what, 18 months?
Yeah, exactly.
And probably didn't want all the fanfare, you know, he'd kind of gone, you know, under the radar for a long time, but
and
I mean, that was just like a shocker. I mean, that was like,
and we were just talking about that last episode, how he had a new album coming
out.
Yeah,
exactly.
Too, so.
And I mean, amazing that he passed this, you know, and wake up to, it was like, what was it, like a snowy morning and bad news. So
yeah.
Anyways, you can, I mean, everybody was talking about it, and, you know, I felt remiss if we didn't say something, right?
Yeah, true. And he will be missed.
So many great things. I mean, Ziggy Stardust and all that kind of stuff.
You know, Space Oddity, you know, Rebel.
We could almost do like a segment on just that stuff, right?
Yeah, we could probably, but
well,
I can't remember any
definitely
songs
anybody, you David
two.
Bowie fans out there, you know, we know how you feel, and, you know, hey, it's like I say, you gotta, you know, it's always those reality checks that make you go, wow, you know. Yep. Anyways, like you said, we are doing a bit of a serious turn this week.
Quick question, what's with the popcorn bucket?
Well, actually, it looked pretty good last week. I had it next to my area in the office here at the studio. This is the bucket of popcorn. And, well, I didn't bring the soda can or whatever, the soda bottle, whatever, that I had when we saw the Star Wars movie.
Oh, okay.
And I thought, hey, you know what? We're always about kind of throwing props in here, right?
Mm-hmm, sure.
So this is our magic little, it's Showtime popcorn bucket.
Oh, awesome. What's in it?
Well,
is there
I can tell you there's no more popcorn in there. Oh, yeah. Well, this movie here.
Oh yeah.
And that's kind of what we were alluding to. The fact is that we are just a bit, you know, going into the Martin Luther King celebration, actually, or commemoration week.
Commemoration, yeah.
And then, you know, it's a national holiday. And anyways, as I say, you know, we thought, you know, what kind of movies could we take in and watch? And I mean, Selma, you know, from last year.
Yeah. I was blown away by the movie, really.
Me too. I mean, I didn't expect it. I mean, I didn't go see it at the theater. You know, shame on me. But I mean, I would almost say there's a set of movies that I think should almost be a requirement in any type of government class that a student has. And I mean, I would have to put this movie Selma up on that list.
Very true, very true. There's a lot of life lessons learned by watching this movie.
I mean, produced by part by Harpo, which is Oprah. I mean, she's in the film.
Oh yeah, yep.
But it's not domineered by Oprah. I mean, she plays a small part in the film.
A secondary character, yes.
A secondary character, but I mean, still a character that, you know, shows, you know, what it was like in that time frame.
When she's trying to register to vote at the beginning.
Right, amazing. As I say, Selma, Alabama, I mean, wow, it's, you know, everybody recognized the fact that the blacks had the right to vote, but the hoops that they made, you know, the registers to go through, it's amazing.
And it's like well, I can't remember exactly how it was. I remember reading it in history class how that worked out. It was like 2 votes counted as 1. Or something like that.
And then also, I mean, it's like, you know, in Oprah's, you know, and you know, not that we're not really, it's not a spoiler, but I mean, in Oprah, she goes down to the I guess the courthouse or even the place to register, and the guy's grilling her with all these questions.
Yeah.
And she's actually answering, and you're sitting on your edge going, okay, here, she's gonna get it, she's gonna get it.
Yeah, like how many judges are there in the state of?
And she goes 67, and he goes, name them.
Yeah, that was.
I mean, it was like, it was just never gonna happen, and it inspired, as I say, Martin Luther King and you know, his group to come to that part of the country. You know, civil rights were just getting, you know, getting some momentum back then. And it's kind of unusual. I mean, I never saw this twist in the story, is that there was already a group in Selma that had a little bit like, hey, this was our fight, why are you coming in here? You know, even though they should have been fighting together. And there was a little bit of a kind of a twist down there in some of the pain that the Selma residents had gone through. They had their own factions set up. And I mean, I know it sounded kind of odd that they would, you know, both factions would be fighting against the same cause. And what I liked about it too is that a lot of the historical facts in the film were based on FBI files.
Yeah, and they had that ticker come up with all the type.
Which,
there.
I mean, you know, proved that they were being, you know, bugged or...
Yeah, and Lyndon Johnson hiring J. Edgar Hoover to spy on Martin Luther King and try
you know,
and get to his wife.
There was like a little, I mean, I did some research a little bit after the fact on that, and I mean, that did occur, but I think maybe they took a little bit of Hollywood license in the film. That I think Coretta Scott actually was pretty close to her husband. I mean, they tried to make it sound like, you know, maybe Martin Luther King was, you know, had something going on the side, and I don't know. I mean, like I said, that's something, you know, they spiced it up, I guess, a little bit with that.
Yeah, sometimes with movies, when you have the true story, you gotta, and some people add like an extra like bit of drama to it or something just to expand on the story.
Right.
Even though it had nothing to do with the original story or something like that. Like say The Blind Side, it wasn't really.
Right, exactly.
Or like when we were talking about that, which I finally saw The Blind Side. We've talked about it many times. I finally watched it.
I think he's gonna get a chance to review it sometime in August. I'm not sure, but anyways,
sometime.
Going back to like Selma and this cause. Amazingly enough, I mean, the meetings that, you know, Martin Luther King had with Lyndon Johnson, you know, Lyndon Johnson, I mean, he, you know, was from out of Texas, actually. He was I believe, senator out of Texas. He was our vice president under Kennedy, and he won by a great landslide in his election, you know, the bid after that. And nothing, you know, again, civil rights back then was not a popular thing to be jumping on board with. And the state that they were involved in, you know, Selma, Alabama, George Wallace, the governor, he wasn't going to hear any of it.
Yeah.
And it was like almost like the president had to play the middle person in between the governor and Martin Luther King. And
then the president didn't want to do anything about it till like later.
And then Martin Luther King goes, you know, he says, in 20 years, they ain't going to remember you, or, I mean, oddly enough, we do remember them.
Yeah.
But he's like, in 85, are you going to want to be remembered as the president that stopped this? And really, Johnson realized, he's like, you know, in a political realm, it wasn't all that popular, and that, you know, later on would go on and sign the Civil Rights Act of '65. Which, I mean, you know, as I say, there's so much to this movie that we're just glossing upon right now.
Very true.
I think it's a must.
Yes, definitely. And this movie, like towards the beginning, I was just right out of left field when you see the girls.
You can't. I don't know.
I'm not going to spoil anything, but
no, I'm going to tell you something. That there, if anything, if that doesn't set the film up, it's a spoil. We can't tell you about it. You got to watch it. I mean, that part of the film, the very beginning, you think it's going to be like, you know, I never expected it.
Neither did I.
And I don't think they did either.
No one would expect that from any angle at all. They're just looking right at it. Never mind. Let's not talk about that.
I almost forgot that. I mean, I said no, and you brought that up. That's amazing.
I just remember looking at the TV like, oh my God.
That just really happened.
Yeah.
And then the way it was filmed, it wasn't filmed. I mean, I really can't talk about it, otherwise I'm going to be talking about it. But the way it was filmed, it was almost filmed in a way that you had to sit and think. I mean, they were on that shot for a long time.
Yeah, they were. Yeah. Anyway, we're going to be coming back after this. Don't go away. Join us when we come back from Media Maniaxe.
Hi everyone. Don't forget you can purchase DVDs of your favorite shows from OCTV, whether it's Minutes by Minute, Our Community Access, or Connie's Kitchen. Just call the station. Our number is 248-628-9658. And enjoy watching all of our shows on OCTV.
Hi, I'm Elgin Nichols.
And I'm Terry Stiles. Did you know that Charter Channel 191 and at&t Channel 99 are the only television stations you can find all the events and news just for you?
Oxford News This Week is your news closer to home. Catch us right here, weekdays at noon, 6:30, and 11 p.m., and weekends at noon and 11 p.m. See you there.
Welcome back to Media Maniaxe. I'm Us Currier.
And I'm Jamie Hughes.
We review everything and weird.
Just crazy enough to do it. Our episode today dealing with a little bit more of a serious topic.
Civil rights.
Civil rights, and we just reviewed Selma, and we're trying to think of another movie. I mean, there are a few movies out there. I mean, I'm sure you can find more than what we're even talking about, but this came out a few years ago. Oh, I pulled it out of the secret.
Okay. Well, hey, you're holding it. You have every right to pull it.
It's called The Help. Okay.
Very good movie.
It was based on a novel, and it was out just a few years ago, actually.
Yeah, about two, 3 years ago, something like that.
Yeah, and it was. I thought it was well done. I mean, it was not probably as serious as Selma, but still getting a message across.
Yeah, true. It had a message to tell, but there was still a little bit of comedy thrown in here and there.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, and I mean, and the cast they had was amazing. I mean, it takes place in Mississippi. And the premise of it, if you haven't seen it or even read the book, it was based on a book that was written by Catherine Stockert, the same title, The Help.
Okay.
And about a young journalist, young lady who played by, who is it? Emma Stone. And she plays a young journalist who does a story about how I don't want to say maids or servants or the help or whatever.
Housemaids for from their perspective, from the black house
even
slaves.
From like middle class
not house slaves, house help.
Yeah, from the middle class. People in that area.
Well, they kind of seem like not the middle class; they're more like the upper middle.
Yeah,
class.
right. Okay. Yeah.
The plantation owners kind of seem kind of like that. Like that's what. They seem like they're living on like.
Probably a little bit better off in that area. And they even had to the point where, how they were treated so second class. I mean, had to ride, separate buses into their, occupations. There were separate bathrooms, and
they got paid little to nothing.
Exactly, and I mean, it was almost like if you were brought into this system, your daughter would be probably in this system, and it was just. It was a well done story. They had a lot of great characters in the film.
Minnie was funny. Minnie was funny.
Of course, yeah, no doubt. Yeah, Minnie Jackson, played by Octavia Spencer, which I want to believe that she was nominated for an Academy Award. If not, she might have received one on that. I'm not sure.
We'll have to look it up.
Viola Davis, who played, she was in that. You might remember her from the ABC series How to Get Away with a Murder. She was actually in the film.
Oh, and I think she's actually, I may be wrong on this, but I think she might be coming up in the movie Suicide Squad, DC comic
she is. I did some research, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Allison Janney had just come off of a successful TV series. She plays the mother of Emma Stone in the film. She was on The West Wing, and I mean, she played like they're all PR people in The West Wing.
Okay.
And the one that I found kind of interesting is Bryce Dallas Howard. She's the young lady that played the girl you hated, okay?
Hilly?
Yeah, and it was her name was Hilly Holbrook.
Yeah.
That's the daughter of Ron Howard and Cheryl Howard. Okay,
you're kidding me.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, and I have a little bit of information about her. Is that she didn't really want to rest on the laurels of her dad. I mean, Ron Howard, the famous director and TV personality and all that. And so many amazing things there. Is that she was on her way to the I guess the tryout or the whatever.
Oh yeah.
And she was telling her mother, Cheryl Howard, who's also an actress, and she says, I'm auditioning for Hilly Holbrook, and her mother's like, oh, you're going to be perfect for the role, and meaning that she was a very temperamental young person at the time, and her name is Bryce Dallas Howard, and.
I've seen her in other things. Like I saw her in a small role in Spider-Man 3, as well as she was in Jurassic World.
Yeah, exactly. But that's Ron Howard's daughter.
Yeah, I never knew that. Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, the thing about it was, I mean, she actually, you learned to not like her in that film. I mean,
I absolutely hated her.
Exactly, you didn't like her at all. I mean, she played it really. I mean, I doubt that she's like that in real life, but it's just like Emma Stone and her were like friends, and I mean, it's a whole story how friendship kind of divides itself when maybe race comes into play. And
yeah, it's true. And, keep your, I was almost going to say keep your friends close, enemies closer and all that. But
Right.
but actually that kind of works out too. Now she's so close to Hilly and all that. It wasn't Hilly's maid that was? No, that was Minnie.
yeah, right.
That's right. Never mind. I'm sorry. I got that all mixed around.
And the other thing about it is that another great actress of the time played her mother in the film, Sissy Spacek.
Oh yeah, and she had
her,
like dementia or something.
Right, yeah,
Alzheimer's.
but I mean, still had enough to. Yeah, I mean, there's the classic scene in that film where we can't. That's another spoiler.
Let's just say this line: "You've been eating too much pie."
Exactly. So
we'll leave it at that.
If you get to that part, as I say, you'll understand what goes on. But
there's one line by Sissy Spacek I do remember right off the bat. Even though I have memory problems, I don't remember what I ate. I still remember that my daughter put me in a nursing home and that you ate Minnie's pie.
Exactly. Well, and that as I say, that's some of the comical relief in the film.
Yeah.
And as I say, I mean, it's a good film to catch up with. And
actually, I caught the movie partway in with my mom and my sister were watching it, and it was right at the Minnie giving them the pie scene. And I was just like, okay, I got to watch this movie now.
now going back to I mean, this is a side bit. Going back to Ron Howard being Ron Howard's daughter and all that. Do you want to know how Ron Howard and his wife named their kids?
How?
Okay, well, Bryce Dallas Howard, he named his kids wherever they were conceived, okay? So she was conceived in Dallas. They have two, Jocelyn and Paige Carlisle from the Carlisle Hotel in New York City. And they have one other one. Reed was named after a street because he said he didn't think Volvo sounded good as a middle name. So
no, it probably wouldn't.
That's how they named their kids. So
that's pretty
I
cool.
found that out
funny.
just so I'm like, wow. You don't think of stuff like when you think of Ron Howard, you think of nice little innocent Ron Howard making cool films and all that. You just
when I think Ron Howard, I think either two movies, either The Grinch or In the Heart of the Sea, because I just saw it recently. I never thought that. Just these little bits of trivia. I love this. I just love soaking up random knowledge.
Exactly. Well, as I say, this is another great movie to check out. I mean, I would almost have to say this is more of a family-based. I mean, not that Selma wasn't, but I mean, you might want to watch your ages on, But if I honestly think both films would be great films to show. Yeah. In a class if you're teaching something like that.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt that they would show that in like schools and stuff to show kids how bad racism was back in the day and how discrimination was separating this entire nation, really.
Right.
And that movie just, even though it had its comedy bits, it still had its message about treating these people like they're people.
Exactly.
And so it's.
I mean, the whole, like you said, the 65 Act and all that, and I mean, how long did it take? I mean, probably within your early lifetime that the national holiday of Martin Luther King Day. I mean, which is kind of turned into almost like a service day, where you go out and do something for somebody else on that day.
Oh, okay.
So.
Yeah, my dad pretty much says, "Oh, day off." That's
I understand that. But as I say though, it's turned into like a service-oriented day.
Yeah.
And hopefully, I mean, as I say, you can do something for somebody else. I mean, it doesn't have to be a race issue at all. I mean, maybe do some volunteer work or something.
Yeah, just do something to help out someone else.
We are about to wrap this segment up. We're coming back, and I understand that my compadre over here has something to tell me more, maybe another movie I should watch.
Yeah, and we'll leave an aisle seat open for you.
Back in a moment.
Canine Stray Rescue is Oxford's own local dog rescue. Each year they take in hundreds of dogs and bring them into suitable homes. A certified nonprofit organization, Canine Dog Rescue strives to give pound dogs a new leash on life. To donate, adopt, or even volunteer, call them at 248-628-0435 or go to their website, dogsaver.org, and click on the Canine Stray Rescue League link.
Welcome back to Media Maniaxe. I'm Russell Currier.
I'm Jimmy Hughes.
We review everything in weird.
Just crazy enough to do it. And today we are paying tribute to Martin Luther King, the civil rights. We talked about Selma. We talked about The Help. You know, great movies to maybe show, you know, younger individuals and show them what it was, you know, the whole movement. I mean, whatever, we were talking about that.
Yeah, and I wanted to bring up one book I remember reading in middle school. That had a symbolism of racism in it too, and it was called Maniac McGee. It was turned into a movie years later with Rip Torn was in it.
Rip Torn, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So Jada Pinkett Smith was in it at the very end of it.
Really?
Yeah, but there's like character. This was made in like probably the late '90s, early 2000s.
Okay.
The movie at least. The book, I don't know when it was written. But the story goes, this kid, going from memory, so I might get some things wrong on it. Kid goes to this one town on his own, runs away, and he finds that there's this town where it's like they're split, they're segregated. From Eastenders to Westenders. Right. And everyone on one side is white, everyone on this side is black. Right. But it's not like the serious, like at first it's kind of like a, kid making friends with either side. He's like, he sees no...
It's almost like an elusive norm.
Mm-hmm. And he sees no problem with it. He's like, I'm not white. If anything, I'm tan. I'm green when I'm sick. I'm red when I'm flustered. You look more mocha than black. And this. And so he sees no problem with it. And it's just like... just seeing this movie from that perspective, it's like a kid understands it better than an adult.
Because you're taught, you're taught to not like. And,
exactly.
You bring up a great point, okay? My grandfather, God rest his soul, he's been gone many years, but he grew up in Scotland, okay? Now, you're going to find this amazing. Protestant and Protestant, and then the Catholics, they were always going against each other, and I asked my grandfather one time. I used to have some serious conversations with him. I'd be like, why did you hate the Catholics so much? He goes, honestly, I don't know why. We were taught to hate the Catholics. We were taught. Really? I mean, that's the culture they were raised in, and it was like, and you thought about it, the Irish. They had a pure hatred for the English, and again, a lot of it was persecution too. Mm-hmm. But it's taught, and you're right. Kids get it. Kids don't know, and if you put kids in a sandbox, they're going to play. Okay. Yeah. And there's no, and that's probably the message anybody should take is that, try to accept if you can.
Yeah, don't be so closed-minded and learn to love your fellow man. It's
differences of opinion doesn't always mean difference. I don't know. I think films like what we saw, we're talking about earlier, and the film. What was the name of it again?
What one? Maniac McGee.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to watch that for sure.
Yeah, Maniac McGee on Media Maniaxe.
Yeah, and the other one we were talking about going into the break, and I haven't seen it. I don't think you have, which I understand is supposed to be pretty good, and I guess it won a few Oscars. Is 12 Years a Slave.
Yeah, I've heard the best acting role probably went towards.
Yeah, I never saw the film. I have to be honest, and I'm gonna probably go out and rent that one.
And I can't remember. I think it started out where he was a free man and then turned into was taken as a slave or something like that. I think my dad saw it, but I never did. Yeah. And it seemed like a very interesting, dramatic movie. Yeah. And so I need to go see that one now too.
The other another one I just got brought to mind. I'm thinking of all the stuff on the cuff right now. Is another Oprah Winfrey film that got her off the ground. And also Whoopi Goldberg would be The Color Purple.
Yep, The Color Purple.
But there's so many films out there, and honestly, if you have any ideas about things or films that we could review, or maybe a topic that we could, you can send an email via our Facebook, I would think. You know,
our Facebook or manager at ocectv.org.
and maybe there's something we're saying that you're not, if you're not happy with, you let us know that as well. But I know we got plans to do some reviews coming up with the new movie, which I'm blown away by, The Hateful Eight.
Yeah,
but we decided maybe a whole segment on Quentin Tarantino films.
Yeah, I'm a big Tarantino fan too, so
he is like so left field. I mean, they had him up the other night. I was watching the Globes, and there's, I guess, here's one thing you and I got to talk about. And I don't know if we have time right now to talk about it, but you know how they always try to wrap you. You're up there thanking, they bring out whatever. And Quentin Tarantino's up there, and he goes, I don't care how long it takes, I'm staying here. And he kept them going and going, and finally they tried to play the music out like 3 times, and he's like, I guess they gave up on him, but he was
really?
he's like, no, he says, I'm here to thank the people that helped me make this movie.
It's like, I have a lot to say, damn it, listen to me.
I always just wondered, if you're going to have an award show, just plan for 4 hours and start it at 5 in the afternoon and let it keep going. I don't care, we all have DVRs. We can watch it that way.
True, very true.
But I mean, they're always rushing them. This person's up there getting an award for the, their life. I'm waiting for our little light to go on to say we got to wrap it.
It's like, what was it? Would you cut off Susan Lucci after she finally got her Oscar?
They probably would.
How many years was she waiting for one? Hell, actually, one thing I want to bring up: when is Leonardo DiCaprio finally going to get his? He
got a Golden Globe the other night for
That's great.
And I didn't see that film, but the
Revenant.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need to go see that.
I kept thinking, maybe another film would have won, but I mean, I guess I have to see The Revenant to see how good it is.
But
maybe that could be another guy, Leonardo DiCaprio films.
Oh yeah,
got to start way back on what TV show was it? That little where you play the kid.
Growing
Different
Pains.
Strokes.
It was Growing Pains. He was
Growing Pains, right? Okay.
Yeah, I think he played a character named Boner or something like that. Yeah,
we'll figure it out.
I think that's what I'm just recalling from memory. I used to watch Growing Pains when I was younger, actually. When I watched reruns. When I was a kid,
I understand.
So, but one thing I wanted to also talk about when it came to movies we were talking about coming up, I just remembered one now. Remember The Titans?
Oh, right.
Yeah, that one was a bit,
Denzel.
Yeah, Denzel. Who else was in that movie? Anyway, but that had another core message. You guys need to, work together and learn to love one another and get over what you've been taught over these many years.
Exactly.
And though I haven't seen the full movie, that's still another one that we should. I felt like I should have been obligated to bring up for this.
Right. No, yeah, you're absolutely right. And a lot of films out there. Again, we'd like to hear your feedback. Again, Russell and I are having a great time doing the show here, and our ability to go back and forth. I mean, you teach me things every time we come on this thing.
I'm learning these things from you.
Anyways, we hope you guys are doing well wherever you are. Again, sad passing of David Bowie. We remember that, and I'm sure we'll be talking about that musically in the future shows to come. But I hope you're doing well wherever you are again.
We're Media Maniax. We review everything.
And we're just crazy enough to do it. I'm Jimmy Hughes, my friend Russell Courier. I almost called it Crow for a second. I don't know why.
Yeah, that's Jamie's one joke. He calls me Russell Crowe all the time.
I know, but it's almost sticking. We'll leave an aisle seat open for you. Thanks a lot, everybody, for checking us out.
Yep.
Hello, I'm Elgin Nichols, and I'm here to invite you to watch our weekly calendar of events on Charter 191 and at&t Channel 99. Learn what local events are going on, and if you have a special event that you want our viewing audience to know about, call us at our TV station at 248-628-9658, or you can locate our dates and times for our program broadcast by going to our website, occtv.org. See you there.